All right, so in preparation for going through the last 3 chapters of the book of Revelation, one of which is Revelation 21, I want to do something that is extraordinarily juvenile, but it's funny and it has significance. And this is regarding the 4-square shape of New Jerusalem. For some weird reason, and I won't even say weird, but just for some reason, there are people out there who think it's the shape of a pyramid. It's like, no, it's 4-square, 4-dimensional, which is different from our 3-dimensional world, but it's the same in all 4 dimensions. So length, height, width, depth, which makes it a cube. Very strange. But I am going to show you guys something that I have actually gone through on this channel, and again, it's very juvenile. I actually learned this when I was a wee child in Vacation Bible School. And what's interesting about this, it's not going to be perfect, granted, but I think you'll get the point when I do this. So here is just a regular sheet of paper. And I am going to fold this across like that, and then fold it down to the other side. Again, this is extraordinarily simplistic, but it does prove a point. It kind of goes back to the whole premise also. Ephesians 4 talks about this, or Ephesians 2, that we are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets. Let me read this, because this actually bears significance into New Jerusalem, a literal significance. New Jerusalem, where the 12 foundations of the city are named after the 12 apostles. And we learned this figuratively about the spiritual house, which is different from the actual literal physical New Jerusalem. But in the spiritual temple that comprises the present dispensation, it says in Ephesians 2:20, that we are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. So the representation of that is the pearl, which comprises the gates, Jesus Christ being the only way in, and a pearl is the only stone which occurs perfectly in nature and cannot be perfected with additional work. Like other gemstones can, you can refine them, cut, clarity, all that stuff. You cannot with a pearl. It is naturally occurring and cannot be made better with additional work. It is naturally occurring perfectly. So that's why the gates into the city are a pearl, a single pearl, each of them, because that goes to the significance of the only way into New Jerusalem, the only way into the kingdom, the only way into eternity with God and Jesus is through Christ, who is, without additional work, perfect on his own. And then the actual literal foundations of the city are, the names of the 12 apostles are in each of the 12 foundations. And that goes into the same kind of typology where in the present dispensation with the spiritual temple, we are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. So that has literal significance in New Jerusalem. Now we're built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. Okay. So how does that play into the shape of New Jerusalem? Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, the way to get into the city. Okay, so again, this is not going to be perfect, but doing all these little cuts and all that jazz. Vacation Bible School. I don't even know why I remember this, to be perfectly honest. But with one cut, you get a cross. Now, and again, this is not going to be perfect because that wasn't a perfect square to start with. So understanding that, all you have to do is, if I had a way to make these stand up, imagine having a way to make these stand up and to be all the same height and all that jazz. What does the cross turn into? again, use your imagination if this was perfect. What does the cross turn into? Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, it turns into a cube. And New Jerusalem is a cube, 4 square. Because the foundation of getting into eternity, the kingdom, New Jerusalem, permanent citizenship, is through the cross. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, very elementary. But the shape of New Jerusalem is based on the cross, folded up into a cube.